So I'm here with Mathew Curran from Tintin Falls, New Jersey, and by coincidence we happened upon Mathew at a yoga conference in Los Angeles, and off the cuff asked him if he could introduce us to his experience with wearing a meditation bangle. And how long have you had the meditation bangle, Mathew?
I've had the bangle for, well, since May 9th.
Since May 9th.
Yeah.
And now it's about August 10th. So.
It's August 10th, so May, June, July, August. It's been 3 solid months. And I've noticed like so many improvements in my life. Every month is a different layer in the brain, because it hits your brain in a certain way, like Nick was telling me.
Well, what I'm curious about, and I'm sure people might be interested in hearing, Mathew, is I was unsure of how you heard about meditation bangles. I'd like you to just tell a little bit about how you were introduced to it.
Well, it's kind of a weird thing, because most people like live in California and they see Nick, and Nick throws out his promo stuff, but me, I was on the other side of the country, and I learned about the Astro Gems and meditation bangles. One day I was sitting in front of my computer, and I was always into gems and all that sort of thing, and I heard a little subtle like intuition voice told me to type astrological bangle, and then in a quick second I heard in my head it's gonna cost, it's gonna be the price. Yeah, it's gonna cost money.
Yeah.
Like really,
Sure.
because it's real quality, And so I checked on that, and I saw a picture of Nick, and I got this realization. I got this like good gut feeling about it. This warm feeling about it. Like this is where I was guided to. So then I thought about it, and I was working in a organic pizza restaurant. Broke my butt for a little bit, and had to save up for some trips to visit my friend in Seattle, and then there's the SRF Convocation, this spiritual gathering, and then the astrological bangle. And then I was talking to Nick sporadically about the bangle and asking questions, and whenever I buy something I'm very cautious about it. So then he's like, alright, if it doesn't, if you don't feel it within like 31 days, then let me know, and this will be a full refund. And so I'm like, all right, what do I have to lose? I'm very dedicated to, to wellness and stuff. And I was a sufferer of, intrusive thoughts and stuff like that. I'm a meditator, and I felt like I'm very hypersensitive to anything holistic, and that works the best with my energy, like stuff like medications. I'm like, I don't want to medicate myself. That's just dulling my mind, drowning me out. I do running that clears my mind. I'm a musician that clears my mind, but I already said meditation. But then there's one thing I'm just like, let me give this a go and see what happens. And so so then he sent me the meditation bangle. I got it on May 9th, and the box was, well, I'm very hypersensitive to gems, so my hands were buzzing actually outside of the box. I mean, it doesn't happen to everyone, but for that time it happened to me, and that was a blessing. But I'm like, here, Jennifer, my sister, like, yo, check this out. And so we checked this thing out, and this thing looks like it was from Star Wars. It was so big, it's a beautiful piece. I thought it was going to be like a bit smaller, but Nick had to match it to my body weight. I was 140 pounds, and so I put it on, and I felt like a dissonance in my mind, like it was like people get cloudy sometimes if you're toxic. I was a little bit toxic, and immediately I called him Nick. I go, Nick, what's happening? He's like, dude, just chill out. It's natural, and it's an integration. And he's like, don't take it off. So I didn't take the bangle off for like at least 5 to 7 days. And what I noticed was that my chest cavity opened up because I have a hard time breathing. I have emotional problems, stress. Had a, my family. Let's just say my family and I always didn't agree, so we, that kind of family tension in the family. But I noticed that, like, my appreciation for, like, flowers and trees started to happen again. Like, it reminded me when I was, like, 18 again. Like, I was very, I didn't, all the sort of things that kids try in high school.
I'm sure this was related to the relaxing breath. I mean,
yeah.
Really expands.
Oh, yeah. It was amazing. Yeah. And it was just like, wow, I feel like I'm floating. It's like a, everything seems darker, without it, but with it, it seems like my vision's actually like a little brighter, maybe.
Well, if I can fast track a little bit.
Yeah.
You had a very positive experience initially, but then you decided to return the bangle. So, I'm playing devil's advocate here. I want to hear, and I remember when you talked to me about, okay, I want to return the bangle, and I was getting these mixed messages. I said to you, well, that's fine, Matthew, you're still in 31-day money-back guarantee, that's totally okay.
Sure.
But what I'd like you to do is put it back on, wear it for a few days, take it off, and see if you notice a shift, a difference by taking it off.
Yeah.
Because I'd observed so many people from my side of the fence who had worn the bangle, got used to it, rationalized that this was the new norm, and didn't credit the bangle for making a difference to their electrical field and their shift.
Sure.
And so I wanted you to take it off. And so what happened then?
I took it off. My brain was muddled. It was pretty bad because I was in a bad spot when I was talking to Nick. I mean, this thing has helped me go forward times 10, maybe, if I didn't have it. It was a tool, like Nick says, it's a small tool for a bigger picture. So without the bangle, I felt, a little more fear, like I was a little more insecure, a little less confident. I do have a big Rahu, supposedly.
I just want to interrupt again, sorry, Matthew.
Sure.
You mentioned a very, very, very key word. And it's a central theme to a lot of people who wear the bangle. And you mentioned the word confident, and I could say confidence. And you can translate that into well-being or lack of anxiety, lack of stress, cheerfulness, because when you're confident things are more rosy, more attractive. And for years and years that's been a cornerstone observation people are giving back in their testimonies. They feel more confident, they feel more capable of making decisions they would have been more fearful of making previously to wearing their gem bangle.
Oh yeah.
And so, and a lot of tension is associated with that, a lot of disquietude, a lot of lack of confidence, lack of fitting in, lack of fear what people are thinking, all the attack sort of concepts that go with inferiority, lack of confidence, lack of assurance. So that's good that you mentioned that word. I just wanted to highlight that because a lot of people don't realize what karma is. They think a karma is a car coming out and running on your foot. Well, it is, but it's not such action-based experience. Karma is far more how we perceive the world and how we interrelate with it. Our well-being.
Say my dogma ran over my karma.
Yeah, exactly.
My karma ran over my dogma. There you go.
And unfortunately, that humorous maxim distracts us from what karma is, and it's the qualities of our mind, the status of our mind with all the imperatives we have to adopt to become spiritual people. So confidence is one of them, though. Boldness, confidence.
Yeah, I also noticed. Definitely an inclination to eating healthier foods. One day, actually it was last month, first when I put it on, I realized it was working on the mental layer. I felt, my body literally felt lighter. I didn't know what to expect. It felt like I was kind of like a feather in the wind, it had to clear out. And sometime for me it got worse before it got better. I call it mental braces.
Yeah. I'd like to interject again right there because I'm doing research. There's a lot of anomalies that I haven't got a handle on
Yeah.
for really clear conclusions. And I'd love to do be a part of an extensive double-blind study analysis of people wearing tools like these. But truthfully, one of the expectations that I've learnt to live with is some people will put on the bangle,
Right.
and they get tired. They drag their feet. It's totally the opposite of what you want to say. Pay $1,000 and get tired. Pay $1,000, get fatigued, tired, etc.
Right.
And then there's another large proportion of people who put on the bangle, might go through a little bit of a shift, and then they feel absolutely fantastic. You know, all the good qualities of confidence, well-being, mental clarity.
Right.
And they fall in love with the bangle. They purchase it. They really rave about it.
You're saying it right away, like,
or within the first few days.
Right.
And
Right.
essentially, you can only surmise different theories, and I'm trying to find a commonality with people who have fatigue and the people who just integrate really quickly and go, hey, this is great, I feel the shift, that's the level, and there's no kind of downside to it. You went through that wobbly transitional integration period.
Yeah, well, it was a weird thing, Nick, because... Sorry, I have to check this. It was a weird thing because with the life force, the other thing that I got in my gut, well, especially feeling it, was I have more capacity to hold in life force per day. You know, it's really cool. I'm a runner. I'm a cross-country runner. I don't necessarily run with it, but if he says, sleep with the bangle, just wear it all the time. I wear it 24/7, unless I'm saying here, so you try it on. You can feel the benefits from it. But definitely, I just feel more energetic. It's definitely the healthier foods. Obviously, that's going to make you more energetic. But then just the cosmic energy, the thing that lights us up inside, that's more. The meditations are clearer because sometimes when I meditate, there's subconscious debris, in the background.
It's the battle of us all. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's crappy, It's just, and it's like these asteroids. I'm playing this game. I have to blow up these asteroids in my mind.
One metaphor or another.
Yeah. So
I think what you're conveying is a point I'd like to bring up. Is most people, when they look at a huge gem bangle like this, a lot of people go, well, maybe it's baloney, maybe it's hoopla. Wow. However, I would like to bring to the point that I'm getting this series of observations, different testimonials, where a lot of people are going, this is fantastic, I really feel it, this is amazing. Then there's a small section of people go, doesn't cut it for me, doesn't do anything for me.
Right.
But then in retrospect to that, then there's these other people who get really tired and fatigued. It's a much smaller percentage.
Right.
I'm excited by both ends of the spectrum, not so much excited about the people in the middle who don't feel the bangle. Right. Fortunately, that's about 10-15% of the field of people who are trying out bangle. There's a lot of people, and I think what happens is they say, it just doesn't cut it for me, it doesn't do it, and then some of them actually call up a week or two later after returning the bangle and getting their refund and saying, I made a mistake. This actually, I thought I was feeling good, but now I'm back to where I was before I wore the bangle. I can see how it made a difference, because a month is a long enough time of repetitive memories where they notice a subtle shift, but they get used to it very quickly, and they think, well, hey, it's summertime, this is the way it is, but they take it off, they slip back, then they go, hey, I've got to have the bangle. But some people don't. Some people don't.
Yeah.
And realistically, whether a person feels it or not, it's still creating a big shift to the electrical field.
Yeah, I'll tell you something interesting. I was out in Vancouver, British Columbia, visiting my friend Christina, and I showed her the bangle, and I said, try it on. She's like, within 30 minutes, she's like, oh man, I don't feel anything, come on. But she at least had the gut feeling of, well, you seem a bit perkier when you're wearing that bangle, Matt. He's like, well, maybe I think everyone has a different metabolism.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the same results for everyone. Don't expect anything. Like Nick didn't tell me what the heck he was going to do for me. He's like, well, you know, your energy in that time and space is very unique. So it's, you know, maybe it's going to work on your stomach first, or your heart center first, or throat, all the centers. So the first month it hit the mental layer. The second month it was on emotion. Now it's physical. I have more energy. I'm just doing healthier routines. You know, it's like it's changing the brain squiggles.
I'd like to bring a belief system into that perspective. And in Ayurveda, and in Chinese medicine, there's a definite philosophy that the different electrical fields of the body running in synergy with each other travel at their trajectory, and at some destined point in a person's life they may get cancer, or they may get some other disease condition.
Right.
And essentially what it is that it's like 5 horses in running down the field, and one horse does a right angle and shoots off out of a direction, creating a major imbalance in the system,
Sure.
and a disease condition comes in.
Mm.
And you know, there are, again, these schools of thought that are very definite that there are different types of electrical energy in the physical body. The pharmaceutical model, the Western medicine, completely is oblivious, more or less, to this concept that we're electrical first and foremost, and that is what throws our biochemistry out of alignment, and that is what creates a lot of problems.
Amazing.
However, having said that, what I feel the science of gem therapy is trying to address is to create a supplement to the weaknesses in the electrical field, which create so much of the suffering, not only in the immediate context, which is how I'm selling the bangles, do you feel the shift, but actually the long-term therapeutic stasis, stability, regeneration, supplementation, of preventing that karmic disposition from manifesting if it's a weakness disposition.
Right.
And when the rishis explained, and when Paramahansa Yogananda explained in Lord Bhagavad Yogi, how gemstones could mitigate or nullify karma, there was definitely that perspective of, okay, we're electrical in nature, you rebalance and supplement the electrical characteristics of the individual, they can't be thrown off their health pattern that much because there's this added supplementation strength that the electrical body knows to feed off and absorb, integrate. And however, the flip side of that coin is some people will wear a very powerful tool of different electromagnetic frequencies, and they will go into a moderate form of subtle healing crisis. And that's why I'm having some people, the minority again, as I said earlier, who are going through this lethargy when they put it on. I mean, both results are exciting. You know, what it's showing is that this thing is not inert. This thing is really doing a difference.
Yeah, it's working.
But they have to detoxify. They have to redress their electrical field before they get past the lethargy to be fulfilled in their healthy balance.
Right.
And you know, there's a lot of people out there who are moderately unhealthy long term, and unfortunately a lot of them are just waiting for a crash and burn, because they're not rebuilding themselves while they've got this sort of moderate lack of health thing going on. And and the gems, in a sense, pull out some of that imbalance to create a change, but they don't like the change necessarily, you know, that easily. I just want to bring up, while we're talking, Matthew, there's 2 types of meditation bangle here for different situations. You're not wearing either of these ones, but this is one that I'm doing experiments with, and you can see it's absolutely huge. It's generally worn by people over 250 pounds, and I'm having spectacular results with it. I've worn it myself, and it's just too much for me. It's too much. electrical energy or radionic energy.
I want to try it.
And then, and then there's this type, which is for the people who are around 100 pounds. And the one you're wearing, I don't have here. Actually, do you want to release
Sure.
it? Is a rectangular design, which is slightly smaller than this size, which is the size I wear.
Mm.
And there's a science to what size people wear. But even with that overall general perspective I've developed based on testimonial feedback, there's still anomalies where you'll have a large sized person still do well with a very small one, and a small sized person only seems to fall in love with a really big gem bangle. So there's definitely a lot more double-blind studies or just ongoing research to be done, but it's all part of the perspective of how these deep, strong colors, or these deliverers of radionic color and frequency, will integrate with our electrical body.
Yeah, it's very intense. So now most people, I'm wearing like a white T-shirt, and I'm going to the store or something, and it'll little peek. Oh, that thing's so pretty. What is that? And I have to describe. This is what it does, and the whole thing. Nick went over with me. No, it's really nice. At first it was bothering me, like, for the first couple of days I wasn't used to it. The feeling of it was just like it was something just clamped on, and I'd be meditating, and I would, in mid-thought, just be like, I'm wearing a bangle, like, why should I think that? Sure. But then it's pretty smooth. It feels like it's a part of you after a while. It's kind of, I'm not too
Your
aware of
electrical
it.
body's at home with it now.
Yeah, it feels great. It feels like, it feels warm, it's a warm feeling. Mostly it's working on my heart lately. It's very, very warm. Just warm.
I think it's interesting. I mean, you went through basically a roller coaster of, wow, this is amazing, oh, I'm not sure about this, and then back to, hey, this really makes a difference.
I was going to return it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why in my research I facilitated this process of a 31-day full money back guarantee.
Right.
Because as a general rule, it can take for some people that long for them to fall in love with what it can do for them.
Yeah.
And the big request I have of people who try it out is to try it out, is to hang in there, is to go with it, even if they go through this tumultuous kind of questioning of the process. It takes time to shift your electrical field. We're very set in our ways. We're very stubborn in how we manifest. And you introduce something that's good for someone, they don't want to hang around too long. I mean, if you go on a spiritual retreat to a beautiful environment and it's absolutely inspiring, great, but you don't want to spend more than a few days there. You want to get back to the rest of this world.
Yeah.
That's the nature of the beast.
Another thing I want to point out is I'm a kid who lives in New Jersey, and I go to New York City a lot. The bangle protects my mind from all this debris that's happening in this delusive world,
Yeah. In other words, when you go into the heterogeneous environment of downtown New York, where it's kind of heavy and in your face, in the past it used to destabilize you a little bit, but now you're more like, you just flow through it.
Yeah, you sift through everything, and I'm in this like protective bubble. Bubble. I was about to say. It's like it strengthened my mind, and even if I take the bangle off, there is permanent positive influence that has happened to my brain. When I put the bangle on, yes, there's more cosmic energy in my body, but even if I take it off, my consciousness...
There's a shift has gone on.
Yeah, it's retained.
Yeah, that's true, and that is true. You can take it off, and it's not like the benefits depart straight away. There's a residual pattern that's been developed by wearing and integrating that field of energy.
It's really for the long term. For me, it's like kind of like a one-stop thing, where I used to play with gemstones, and I asked them about the New Age, moldavite, and you know, but then it got down to, you know, Matt, play around or wear real crystals from...
Yeah, moldavite is the glass, I told you.
Yeah, and stuff that the vibration of the earth that balances us.
Yeah.
You
Matthew, I want to say thank you.
Yeah.
It'd be fun to keep on talking.
Sure.
YouTube has limitations of how many minutes we can put on there.
Yeah.
But thank you very much, Mathew Curran.
Oh, thanks, Nick Hodgson.